The Origin of Species by Kathy Sanchez, Gabriella Lopez, Emily Morin, and Isaiah Ford. A species is a group of living organisms who are able to exchange genes or interbreed. The largest organisms that are capable of interbreeding and producing offspring are species. Defining species begins with taxonomy. Taxonomy is the branch of biology that classifies and names types of species. Taxonomists use different concepts to define what species is. Biological species concept, it defines a species as a population or a group of populations whose members have the potential to interbreed and produce fertile offspring. Morphological species concept classifies species based on fossils, asexual and sexual classification, which those are based on observable and measurable phenotypic traits. Ecological species identifies the ecological niches, focusing on unique adaptations to particular groups in the biological community. Phylogenetic species concept organizes species on the tree of life. This pyramid demonstrates what taxonomists go through to decide what type of species each organism is. They start with knowledge, then they try to understand and explain things, then they apply what they know, they analyze it, evaluate it, and they create whatever species it is. Microevolution is the beginning of new species. Speciation can occur when species have been isolated for so long that they evolve differently, and there are different types of speciation. Temporal speciation occurs when two species breed at different times during different seasons and at different times of the day or even different years. Next, behavioral isolation is the third type of pre-zygotic barrier. There's little or no sexual attraction between females and males of different species. Mechanical isolation, is a fourth type of pre-zygotic barrier, occurs when females and male sex organs are not compatible. Gametic isolation is the fifth type of pre-zygote barrier. A male and a female from two different species may copulate, but the gametes do not unite to form a zygote. For example, the eastern and western spotted skunks were separated due to a temporal barrier.
The reproductive barrier is a biological feature of the organisms themselves, and it prevents populations that belong too closely to another species from interbreeding when their ranges overlap. There are three different types of post-zygotic barriers which prevent the development of fertile adults. Hybrid inviability fails to develop or reach sexual maturity. Hybrid sterility means that hybrids fail to produce functional gametes. And hybrid breakdown means that the offspring of hybrids are weak or infertile.
Okay, so allopatric speciation occurs when the biological populations of the same species become vicariant, and then adaptive radiation is in evolutionary biology. And adaptive radiation is a process in which organisms diversify rapidly into a multitude of new forms, particularly when change in the environment makes new resources available. And geographic isolation definitely can lead to speciation. For example, if one species of bird somehow got stranded on two different islands, the species may eventually break off into two separate distinct species.
So how does it occur? So originally, speciation starts as, we need to know how it occurs. So it occurs if a member of a species isolated from each other for so long that they evolve differently. So for example, in London there's called above ground mosquitoes, and they belong to the species found around the world called the Culex pipiens. Some scientists lump the underground mosquitoes into the same species. Others disagreed, saying that the Mediterranean mosquitoes act so differently that they belong to separate species, which they named Colexis molestus for the insect-infested behavior. So this means basically, so the Culex pipiens was the initial species, and because of a natural disaster or some change or whatever, caused the initial species to separate, and then for so long, the C. pipiens and the C. molestus split up, and then they end up evolving differently.
The end.